Welcome to Module 2, Lesson 1. Today we're going to talk about something that might fundamentally change how you approach your work as an ADHD executive: energy management over time management. You've probably tried every time management system out there: Pomodoro technique, time blocking, getting things done. And if you're like most of my ADHD clients, they worked for about a week before falling apart. Here's why. Traditional time management assumes we all operate at the same capacity throughout the day, but ADHD brains don't work on a 9 to 5 schedule. Your cognitive capacity fluctuates dramatically. Some moments you're brilliant, other moments you can barely string a sentence together. And that's not a character flaw, that's neurodiversity. Fixed schedules ignore this variable capacity. They assume that 2 p.m. you has the same capabilities as 9 a.m. you. For ADHD executives, that assumption sets you up for failure. So here's the paradigm shift. Stop managing time and start managing energy. Time is going to pass whether you use it well or not. But energy is your real currency. When you have it, you can move mountains. When you don't, even simple tasks feel impossible. I had a client, a CFO, who spent years beating herself up for being lazy in the afternoons. She'd schedule important analysis work for 2 p.m. because that's when her calendar was free. Then she'd stare at spreadsheets, unable to focus, feeling like a fraud. When we mapped her energy patterns, we discovered her analytical brain peaked at 7 a.m. She shifted her deep work to early morning, and what used to take her 3 agonizing hours now took 45 focused minutes. Let me introduce you to the 4 energy modes that ADHD executives cycle through. Understanding these changed everything for my clients. First, peak performance. This is when you experience that lightning sharp focus when complex problems suddenly seem simple. This is your zone of genius. For some, it's early morning. For others, it's late at night when the world quiets down. Then there's steady flow, consistent, reliable energy. You're not setting the world on fire, but you can engage, collaborate, and handle routine work that needs attention. Scattered is that state where you're functional but not optimal. Your mind might jump around, but you can still get things done, just not the things that require deep focus. And finally, recovery needed. This isn't laziness. This is your brain saying it needs to recharge. Fighting this state is like trying to drive a car with an empty tank. Now, you might be thinking, but Cherie, my energy is unpredictable. And yes, ADHD does add variability. But I've coached many ADHD executives, and every single one has patterns. They just hadn't noticed them before. Your patterns are unique. There's no right time to be productive, only your right time. One of my clients, a tech CEO, discovered he had 2 peak windows: 6 to 8 a.m. and 9 to 11 p.m. Everyone told him that schedule was unsustainable, but he's been running his company successfully for 5 years on that rhythm because he stopped fighting his brain and started working with it. Here's where the magic happens: aligning your tasks with your energy states. High energy gets your strategic work, the complex problem solving, the creative projects, the important decisions that shape your organization's future. Medium energy is perfect for collaboration. You have enough bandwidth to engage with others, but don't need the intense focus of deep work. Low energy, that's when you handle routine tasks: email, filing, scheduling, things that need to get done but don't require your best brain. And recovery isn't wasted time, it's restoration. It's when you plan, reflect, learn, or simply move your body to reset your nervous system. Let me tell you about Sarah, a marketing director who came to me on the verge of burnout. She was scheduling her important strategic calls at 2 p.m. because that's when clients were available, but 2 p.m. was her energy crash time. She'd power through these calls on sheer willpower, then collapse afterward, unable to do anything else productive that day. She was forcing creative campaign work during her scattered afternoon hours, producing mediocre results that didn't reflect her actual capabilities. And the worst part, she felt constant guilt about wasting her high energy mornings on email and admin tasks. We mapped her energy over 2 weeks and discovered her strategic brain was sharpest from 9 to 11 a.m. We restructured everything. Strategic planning moved to 9 a.m. Team meetings shifted to her steady flow period from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Admin tasks got relegated to her low afternoon energy. 6 months later, she told me, I stopped fighting my brain and started working with it. The difference is extraordinary. She's not working more hours. She's working the same hours at the right times. So here's your experiment for this week. And remember, this is just an experiment. You're not committing to anything permanent. First, track your energy for just 3 days. Not every minute. That's too much. Just note morning, afternoon, and evening. Were you high energy, medium, or low? Then identify one clear pattern. Maybe you consistently crash after lunch. Maybe you come alive at 4 p.m. Whatever it is, just notice it without judgment. Next, move one important task to your peak time, just one. If you discover you're sharpest at 8 a.m., protect that hour fiercely and put your most important work there. Then notice the difference. How much easier was that task when you weren't fighting your brain to complete it? Here's what I want you to remember. Energy is your real currency. Spend it wisely. Your ADHD brain isn't broken. It just operates on a different schedule. When you work with it instead of against it, everything changes. This week, just observe. Don't try to overhaul your entire schedule. In the workbook, you'll find tools to help you map your energy patterns and align your tasks. You can also dive deeper into the articles we've provided on productivity and adaptive leadership. Remember, awareness is the win. If all you do is notice your patterns, you've succeeded. Implementation is the bonus. In our next lesson, we'll talk about organization without overwhelm, because once you understand your energy, you can create systems that actually stick. Until then, be curious about your patterns. You might be surprised by what you discover.